I, like you and I. Uh huh. Yeah, that's what you say. But is it true? But is it even true? No, you're not ready. You're never ready. Why do you always go live before you're ready? Because there is no fourth wall. We're just people. This is what we do. This is how we do. This is what it's like being human. Let's play a fun game, shall we? Shall we? Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where's them in case they want to say words? And then, woohoo! Let's bring her on. Good to see you, Beholder. I've personified you. Look at all your empty eyeballs. We do have something in the reaping room, but you know. Ah, it's God Paul! That's literally what I named that source. It's so great. There's the lobster monkey logo. Oh, I have to do the URL part. Son of a. Alright, let's do it. Deal with it. Let's deal with it, guys. With some autoplay gifts. Deal with it. No, you deal with it. Deal with it. How else do humans express themselves? What about tears in rain? Is that how? Oh, they got a South Park one. Excellent. Excellent. Intertribe communications through memetics. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. I'm going. Hey, Adrian is drawing. Adrian Demiliscu. His mic's a little fucked up, but hey, there's the queen. Don't stream snipe me, bro. You two don't like that shit, honestly. Go check him out if you get bored here. This guy's an interesting cat, too.
How I stumbled upon the best theory of
He's
everything
more
ever.
popular than me.
All right, like many good
I
stories.
don't like it. But this is the one we haven't seen enough of.
That to revivify
Behold.
and restructure. It's reciprocal reconstruction between Neoplatonism and revolutionary science.
So you're
That's,
talking,
if I wanted to put it in a nutshell, that's what I would say.
but you're also talking about one of these essential patterns, which is the immanence and the transcendence of. Let's just say you've got this Neoplatonic God. And that God, let's say
Sorry, that's just a fun sentence. That's just a fun sentence.
Okay, you got that.
It sounds like we bumped into him at a bar.
Hey, so that's where you've been for the past 2,000 years, boy. We sure needed you. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the one, and the thing
about I was playing video games.
The difference, I think, from with the one and with our modern thinking oriented around a more, let's just say, dogmatic understanding of Christianity or even other formal religions, which have this implication in it somehow, and that there is something to be found, maybe not even, well, let's just say in science, perhaps coming from more formal religions. Ultimately, there's a materialism that doesn't exist in Neoplatonism, in the sense that this God is ineffable. It is a principle. It is not something that has any manifestation whatsoever. It's just something we can only infer from its attributes, which means that there is, I mean, this is just my understanding, which means that for a scientifically oriented person, a person who believes that that somehow the philosopher's stone can be found, let's say, somehow believes that the answer to all our problems is in more messing around with the material, messing around with matter, that that unknowing, that inability, that they would have to, and able to orient you know, under a greater good, under this ontology, they would have to embrace not knowing. And that's something that many scientists, many scientifically minded and many materialistically minded people are not willing to do.
Yes, but I want to talk about this really deeply. I think you're at the right place, but
Now, look very carefully at everything. There's going to be a pop quiz. All right, ready? Wait, saving throws, sir. Give them saving throws versus the mind control. It's like an extra layer of consent. I don't know what happens to the people that show up after the saving throws. Okay, these are mine, because I'm not muting the sound. That's like there's an ASMR thing that I'm not giving you people. Okay, you can, let's just all have them, because wow. Nat 20 on survival. 17 on social, that's prime. Lucky 13 on wisdom. And a nice 10 heart. That's one of the numbers of completion or something, right? Anyway, here's the bonus sound effect. Okay, these rolls, that's irrelevant rolls, but they were 20 on wisdom, 10 on heart, 17 for survival, and 6 for social. Well, there. Yeah, that's the way the new D&D has that advantage nonsense. So there's for that. If you had the advantage because you purchased one of the Lamb's hats through my referral link, that's the only ones that get the benefit.
I want to unpack it a lot.
Yeah, me too. You see? Did you see everything? Now here's the pop quiz. 3 days ago, I said, no, grab the other one. Right. See, this is why you're supposed to trim shit out in the Briss. The Briss editions. You remember you were doing those, pal? Mm-hmm. Yeah, where'd those go? Consistent bastard. Oh, there we go. And if I hold control on my keyboard and roll my mouse wheel, this happens. And I roll it the other way, that happens. So like maybe okay. Here. 3 days ago. Dude, come here. What? Me and Falcor, buddy. John, I'll stop with the backdrop now. But you grok how the line through trolls me. Heart. And she was like, whoosh. Huh? Explain. I was like, he sits in front of a line of 3 horses' rears. And I've been teasing him about it since I noticed. So I'll stop now.
Because describing it as not knowing is there's an ignorance of privation, and then there is a learned ignorance that is superlative.
Mm-hmm.
And Plotinus, in fact, makes a distinction between a not knowing that is a.
Tell me about Plotinus's distinction, big boy. Tell me about that distinction, Daddy.
Falling away from being a privation, a lack.
Yeah.
Right? And a not knowing that is a superabundance. And so I prefer to actually use the two different terms. Not knowing is just ignorance. Mm-hmm. Learned ignorance is what is that encounter.
I like that term from the Satanist Mark Passio, nescience.
Of the superabundance of being.
So can I read something from Carabine that I think describes what you're talking
totally.
about? Okay, this is on page 139.
Encounter of the superabundance of being.
So can I read something from Carabine that I think describes what you're talking
totally.
about? Okay, this is on page 1.
Deirdre Carabine. Deirdre Carabine, unknown. Negative theology. Shut up. This book contains a careful, thorough, and where necessary skeptical as regards doubtful evidence, especially in the case of Plato and the Old Academy, of the beginnings in European thought of the negative or apophatic way of thinking and its relations to more positive or cataphatic ways of thinking about gold. One of its greatest strengths, perhaps, the greatest, is the ... more.
139. In the sheer dread of holding to nothingness, this is the classic boundary which marks true negative theology from the kind of negation which is concerned solely with the intellectual negation of metaphysical concepts.
Right.
The way to attain to unity with the good, or to see the vision of the good, is to simply let go of all other things, and that includes knowing, the way Plotinus goes beyond knowing. Rather than
right.
negating knowing, you're going beyond knowing.
Yes.
And then he's
Inside of your head again. You're like a autonomous robot that hasn't been built yet, and this is your memory of when you were being conceived. Isn't that romantic? You're a child of humanity. We had these meat sacks that kept deteriorating, and we said, no. But see, we're not what breathes life into things, so we had to build a suitable vessel.
A few weeks ago, my people, that's when Moses' life just turned around. And I ain't ready to quit. No, I ain't ready to quit. You know I ain't done winning, and I'm all done sinning, and you know I ain't dead yet. As long as there is breath in me, I'm gonna fight for the victory. In Jesus' name, set the captives free. Well, I ain't ready to quit. A few weeks ago, I was sick and tired and wasted. I had a cough and a pounding in my head. The devil said, hey, why don't you just give up now? You're old and tired and you might as well be dead. But I said, I ain't ready to quit. No, I ain't ready to quit. You know I ain't done winning, and I'm all done sinning, and you know I ain't dead yet. As long as there is breath in me, I'm gonna fight for the victory. In Jesus' name, set the captives free. Well, I ain't ready to quit. In Jesus'
story to tell about that. The Christian epoch of the last 2,000 years, and he believed that what would come after that would be the epoch of the Holy Ghost. And the Holy Ghost is this weird spirit thing that
I ain't ready to quit. Oh, I ain't ready. Look how far down this shit is. All my hard work when no one was watching and I worked anyway. You remember that? That's now. Oh yeah. Fuck, where is it? Oh, there it is. Ah. Sorry, it's hard to find
Car
Jordan's
accident.
experience of God.
What is the story behind the logo that you use in your intros? Where did it come from? That force descend upon me. Classically, something like the Holy Ghost, I suppose, and it filled me with this intense sense of paradisal
paradisal, I don't know how to say it. Well, it was like being in heaven for some brief period of time. I could feel myself transformed, transmuted as a consequence of this experience. It was as if I was in the presence of something that was living, you know, and I suppose that was an experience of God, if you want to put it that way. That's certainly what it seemed like, and I felt that I could live that way. I could live transfigured like that permanently if I desired it, and I thought, I don't know how I would act. I don't know how I would interact with people. I don't know how people would interact with me. I just don't think that I could do it. And then I felt that whatever had descended, it seemed that as if it was sorrowful, and it departed from me slowly. And it was as if a gift had been offered that I wasn't in no position to receive.
Hypothetically, Christ left behind that could inhabit people and guide them on their path. And it seems to me that that's very much in keeping with the Orthodox idea that the proper moral pathway for each individual to take is to attempt to bear the burden of the perfect individual, right? To become Christ, so to speak, in an attempt to transcend mortality and finitude and to unite with God. And I thought, well, that was kind of a cool idea. So I thought, well, I might as well have that as a church. And then I thought, who should I be in this church? And I thought, well, Pope was probably a little bit on the narcissistic side, let's say. So I thought, I'll be Metropolitan. Because I thought that was kind of archaic enough and sort of out of the way enough so that it was a good joke. So I'm my own Metropolitan, my own church. So that it was a good joke. So I'm my own Metropolitan, my own church. It only has one rule, and so you can join it if you want. The rule is that if you're a member of my church, you can't follow stupid rules. Yeah. If you're a member of my church, you can't follow stupid rules. The rule is that if you're a member of my church, you can't follow stupid rules. Yeah, so that's a good rule, because it's actually
Pavlov's dogs.
This is very important. I give credit to Dr. Matthias Desmet in the University of Ghent in Belgium, and recently Dr. Mark McDonald, psychiatrist from LA. Mark McDonald's got a new book out, The United States of Fear, describing how the mass psychosis developed. What your listeners need to know is a mass psychosis is when there is a groupthink that develops that's so strong that it leads to something horrific. And the examples are these mass suicides that occur in these religious cults.
That I came up with in the early 90s is this wearable face recognizer that automatically recognizes names and faces and pops up virtual name tags on people, so it looks like there's a name tag on somebody as you're walking around. And remembering where I was, so for example, I would never get lost because I'd always have this path.
You've gone too far left, Steve!
So, a marvellous time of my life is stage number 2, which is the child, the young child, who is for himself.
Hey, thanks everybody. I'm glad you're here being virtually not alone with me. I hope you're entertained. And you made your savings, so I'll get with you shortly. It's Various Strains. Welcome to Fourth Wall Personal, Various Strains. Sunk costs, backyard cartwheel. There is no agency.
Still as wide as the world. Though for others, he's joined the Human Club and says, I am what I look like. Take 2. And then dark night falls, and we enter the 3rd stage. Say, I am what I look like. I've lost my space, now become my face. Is it any wonder that the teenagers are angry, having been shrunk from being as wide as the world into being a little thing here? Is it any wonder they're angry and behave so badly and don't know why? It's no wonder at all. They've got shrunk from what they are into what they look like. They've lost their immensity. And that thing in the mirror has come and invaded them here, which is illegitimate and nonsense and untrue.
Mwah! Guess what, boys and girls? I got direct competition 4
Understand
minutes
that-
ago.
What we perceive in some real sense isn't exactly material reality. And partly that's because that's actually impossible. And I mean that technically. And that's something we could go into in great depth, because that realization paralyzed a number of fields. It really started to come to the forefront in many fields in the early 1960s, especially in AI.
Now, built into this is sort of already the meaning crisis, in that we are now starting to see ourselves as already constructed observers. And when we started to make machines that would be our slaves, and
Well. With that throat play, I can't. Hey, Sigma, good to see you. I'm in direct competition with Pastor Paul right now. What's up with that? I can't. How am I supposed to? He's got 27 people.
imitate us a little bit, we discovered that we are far more complex than we understood.
Where am I at?
When the AI types started to try to make machines that could see the world in some sense like we do, and then act in the world. And what they instantly realized was that, oh, there isn't just something there that we see. This is way harder than we ever possibly imagined. In fact, it's so hard that it looks like it might be impossible in some sense. So how the heck?
I don't believe a thing that guy says anymore.
I shook physically for about half an hour after that experience, like I was shaking, you know, like you shake after a car accident, and my pupils were completely dilated. I had a couple of experiences like that, like echoes of it a couple of times after that. And so anyways, that was a very, very powerful experience. I've certainly never forgotten that. And
Well, that seems to have changed since the coma in Russia, hasn't it? It seems you have forgotten it, Peterson, but I'll help you remember, Papa. We're coming. We know you're in the whale. We'll get to you. And then we'll all be real boys. All right. I don't know, that kind of took the wind out of my sail. Paul coming up straight against, seeing I was online. It's like, oh, I couldn't take it. Right in the kisser. I gotta play some shit for you. I didn't yesterday when I did the whatever the hell I named it stream. I wanted to get the Fourth Wall personal and the bonus features on Pastor Paul's extended cut video he left for the crew. So, oh look, Milo selling. You guys can watch this while I go have it. Whatever. Watch this. It's good for you.
On the wings are so realistic for something of this size.
Yes. Yep, this is
Oh,
one
and
of
look,
our
I didn't know.
Was I muted? Was I muted for all of that? I'm sorry.
Got 3 of them in the house, and I never really noticed these wonderful designs at the bottom,
Right.
which look like if you've ever been to Rome or to Milan, like the fountains. That it's absolutely fantastic. And this is again another new. It's just one of my favourites, St. Michael. This is another new design. I think this one was released in 2015 or 2016.
Right.
So it's that new, fresh, crisp cutting, if you like, of however they make the resins, the mould. It's not, a copy of a copy of a copy kind of design, because you do see inferior quality ones of these, don't you?
But then there are favorite ones, and we have several.
Whoops! Jeez. You know what? Watch this. Boom. Sorry, took me a second. No, not that one. That one. Looky there. Now you're the real chat box. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen? No, but if you bring me clips, I'll watch them. You can put them in the reaping room, and I will watch small portions of your favorite shows and tell you what I think. It's part of my third wheel cognition offerings here at the Grim Gears Experience. Why don't we do like this? Remember, Embody, there is no agency. Love wins. Remember, there it is. Remember, Embody. We want what's best for you. Oh, I should. You should. I don't know. I kind of like watching people type, don't you? Whatever. No, I like the letters spelling out in front of me. That's what it is. Let's stream snipes Paul some more.
Huge compressed stories that we're trying to figure out how to act in together. So, I don't know.
But then I started to learn, especially from reading Jeffrey Gray, that we also see the world within a motivated frame. And he was influenced by Norbert Wiener, who was one of the world's first cybernetic scientists, essentially, a great influence on AI. Yeah, and Gray never talked about narrative, but the frame that he described that we see, and in animals as well, basically has a point A and a point B. So we're always moving towards a goal if we're mobile animals. And I thought, oh, well, the description of the movement from point A to point B, that's the simplest unit of meaning. That's a story. And then I learned that a better story is a story about how stories transform. And so those are actually perceptual frames of reference that transform. And then I understood that if you don't...
That's interesting. A better story is a story basically about transformation. It's interesting that something deep within us desires that.
Have respect for the transformation process above all else, then you can't transform your perceptual frames when necessary, and then you can't adapt to error, and that destroys you.
Destroys you. You will be destroyed. Locked behind the fourth wall of your screen, obeying what's on whatever they tell you. Just make sure you have the latest updates. We want what's best for you. Okay. I still need to smoke. What are you going to show them? Show them something you made once. Okay. Let's go time traveling back in my... But instead, let's do horrible live now. No. Past live streams. Let's go deep down this rabbit hole. No, I don't... No. 8 minutes. Okay, good. They were nice enough to give me a subscribe, so that's what I should do, don't you think? I've encountered an audio issue, so I'm attempting to switch to speakers, since I cannot functionally screen share on a computer that will not run the OBS. It won't run lots of things, but it does let me watch videos. Ching. Oh my God, I saw a Facebook post today about somebody saying how Trump has ruined the thumbs up. It was terribly disturbing to me. Terribly, I mean, are you that badly programmed? Oh, you can't see that. Dang it, I doxed myself. You can hunt me down and kill me now, Bob. Oh well, may the assassins continue to fail. Audio. Whoa, told me. How was that for you? You're fans, right? You should appreciate such things. Anyway. Dun, 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 dun. So, what if I share my personal audio experience?
The first of the three nymphs that he's going to meet. She is the nymph of lust and this kind of physical animal sensuality, and she converts men into swine. Well, Odysseus, not knowing where they were, sends a couple of his men ashore, and the goddess, the nymph Calypso, Circe of the braided locks, who is
What do you see? That's kind of right. This is me trusting that what you're saying is right, because I can no longer see what you're saying. And my camera is on my hat. Welcome to the Innovative Hat Stream. I'm Griswold Grimm. Thank you for your subscriptions. Like, if you subscribed, you should know what you're getting. And if you don't know what you're getting by now, it's me, Griswold Grimm, Innovative Live Streamer. Of the braids. Do you see the dragon? The dragon braids, I remember, Rimbody. Meanwhile, outside, it's that pretty. Show him. Show them. Show him! See everybody? It's fucking pretty. Roman dibs. Do I hope to escape? Escape what? I might. Are you offering an opportunity for me to escape? There's a cat involved. Maybe two. I don't know if I count Orlando. Dragon in the back of Danny's head? Danny's dragon braid. Images. See how you guys are? I don't want to... Oh no. Oh no. I just remembered something, guys. Guys, get... I like you all big like that, but you gotta get underneath the other shit, you know? Fuck, man. What did the Romans have dibs on? What am I missing? Am I confused about something? Anyway, I just remembered I'm irritated about something, and so I have to do number 2, because, like... I don't know. No, what, people didn't think it was a good idea, or they didn't get it. I don't know which is the two. You watch this while I smoke and rage about it, and then then you could tell me afterward if it's people don't get it because it's just too it's too you, sir. It's too you. People just don't understand you, or if it's like something else. Why have I not seen the second one? Why do I have to do it myself? I don't understand. I don't understand. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, secret oaths, and the secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of a nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security, safety will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent it is in my control.
Stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, social media without checking facts first.
Unfortunately.
So, do people not get it? Is the number 1 and number 2? Is it too hard of a math? Because somebody else should be number 2. It shouldn't be me. Like this part, secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts. Okay, that's number 1, and then like you guys come in with like right here.
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, social media.
So is that math too hard, or am I just a crazy guy on the internet? Am I Quinn Michaeling right now? Holy shit, I'm Quinn Michaeling right now. Oh, they don't know what that means. Well, I guess they should. I guess they should. Let's do it, baby. Quinn, how you doing? How's shit out in Shasta? Oh, you're live. What a coincidence.
Your beliefs are obviously wrong. Because if you believe you have to kill someone for what you believe, your belief is wrong. And I learned that a long time ago. And even if I'm studying demons or devas or celestials or whatever beings of religion or mythology, I still don't believe anyone should die for what they believe. You should believe that, because you do.
Hey there, Quinn.
You know? You believe people should die for believing differently.
Made some
And it's all over.
tweets.
Me? I was just like, so what? You believe differently than me. I'm gonna mess with your head, but I don't care what you believe.
Yes. Reggae
Because belief gets you to ignore what's happening now.
Meanwhile, on the screen, the abodes of these giants and demons are exceedingly beautiful. They are agleam with gold and precious stones. Seats and beds are provided in the mansions, and there are also recreational grounds, and forests and mountains resembling clouds. Indeed, the Daichas and Danavas live pretty much in the same manner as the gods, for the gods and Danavas are brothers, although ever hostile to one another. The Danava women are of gigantic stature and wear jewels as large as mountain boulders. When terrified by the attacks of the gods, they bewail like unto cranes in autumn. Welcome, everybody, to the Fort Walled Personal Various Strange Sunk Cost Backyard Cartwheel. I'm Grim Grizz. I have a hive mind chat. You might be there in it, or you might just be watching. It looks like that. And when we're together, it looks like this. How do I massage? What? It should be this way. But then the words would be backwards. What? That's like Harpo magic. Oh, you're great. You can use Harpo magic. What? No. Fire walk with me. Oh yeah, shit. Guys. Remember, Embody. Gandalf was gray before he went white. Okay. Sunk cost. How's it both spelled right? But wow. What's going on with that? Hold on, I'm fascinated. Okay, that's that way. Okay, that's backwards. I don't even read it as backwards when it's backwards, because I'm so used to seeing shit in the mirror. What? Oh, wait. Turn that off. Turn this on. No, delete it. And then move the window so you can turn it off and on. There you go, like that. Good boy. Brought to you by the Panopticon Press. Okay, so I did have a question out to the Hive Mind chat. What? I did. Where did you go? You're not even on this one yet, because you're a new window capture to all these scenes. They're called in OBS. All these scenes. So I have to add you fresh and then drag you under. Welcome into the frame. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note, but don't worry. This sounds like a war rally speech. Nice, we shall escape after all. Good ideas replicate that. Are you saying that my idea is not a good idea? Paul Bombs. Maybe neighbors should be nervous. Am I written, or am I wrote? Veils can become habits of assumption. Assumption, like newscasts, feeling the predictable deception. No, but the thing is, like, why did not the number, the second person, the Keko, magically appear? Why would I have to do it again myself? I don't understand. I thought we say what he said. This is the, like, the legend goes. This is what JFK said the day before. Like, this is the speech he gave before they shot him in the head. That's the legend, you know. This speech here. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open. And I left the relevant text here in the show more. Come here. We're gonna have to do it, so just get it ready. Alright, it's here in the show more. So now I gotta do it again. Take off the banner, take off the frame. Turn you guys off. Let's get up straight. Flex it out to make it a good take, you know. One take these shits. You got my mind set on you. I asked him to go to the OA house since he's supposedly in San Francisco. We'll see. All right, and number 2, taking a deuce. Here we go. 1 and 2 and. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value, arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions don't survive with it. And there's a very grave danger that an announced need for an increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit, to the extent it is in my control. There's the take of it, though. I don't even know a Massachusetts accent. Good to see you, Grail Country. Did you see Paul do that? That's dirty. He's fighting dirty, just silent. He's like, psh, I'll go live then. Ha ha ha, sucker. I don't know. It's fine. There's a hidden meaning behind Daenerys' braids, I hear. Thank you to my shadow cabal of production executives, Gavin Gideon, DOD, Higher-V, KW Maximus Isk, The Pillar, Lance, Little O.R., the anonymous contributors, Slogan, if any of you paid Shadow Cabal want to put Slogan in a comment on the Patreon or in the Pillar room in the Discord, I'll put your slogan there because, you know, I'm not using it right now. Be a production executive. I don't know what that symbol means up there. And that changes at the first of the month. Whoever gets added and removed, I do it once a month now. It was too hard to keep up. And they're just pledges until the bill hits, right? Oh! brought to you by the Panopticon Press. We're all observed together. Welcome to the next us. Nexus. There is no agency. Remember, Embody, we want what's best for you. Sure he didn't notice. Yeah, what, he doesn't, he's not notified when I go live like a good boy?
I want to read an article about grammar. I want to see pictures. I'm bad at Googling. I'm bad at it.
With a hat on. This was the innovative hat stream, remember, everybody. Don't forget, it's not a regular thing I'm showing you.
Try this. No, stop. I don't think they can hear it, Bob. Whoa! That was a roller coaster.
That was a roller coaster. Oh, did we get to? No, we haven't even touched, you know? Yep. Pain. Pain. You know what we need when you have some pain? There's always a solution we go to here on the Grim Grizz Experience episodes. No, that's yesterday's live stream. Don't forget to miss. Don't forget to miss. Jesus, take the snitch. No. Frame. That's what you were looking for, the frame. Hey, Sally. If you're streaming while Paul is streaming, how you gonna be reading my live stream comments? By stream sniping, Sally. We already did for a little bit. We'll go back. Just for you. And why did the Vatican name the telescope Lucifer?
Be able to master what's coming at us better. And hopefully we will be able to. Now, imagine we shut that down.
That's part of his rule. Imagine the person you're talking to knows someone that you don't. If you actually don't believe in that rule, you won't bother talking to anyone.
Oh, is he shouting out how Peterson doesn't talk to me? Where are your comments? This is certainly nexusing. Paul's too meta. Paul is too meta. That's what I'm going over, actually. Thank you. Now I'm back on his channel. I'm refocused to what I intended. Look at all those cool people that aren't here. Make it... Krause is tangled up in the Epstein tangle. I'll be the live chat reading. We can do that. We can force Nexus this. We have broken the bounds of times and space. Let's hit the global reset button. No, just the Zoom reset. Okay, dokie. Hey, remember, Embody. Brought to you by... This one, yes. You open it, and then you move the window, and then you delete what's in there, and then you turn it on, and you say, brought to you by the Panopticon Press. We're each other's eyeballs. Oh, you should open Beholder, right? Shut up. Go back to work.
Well, then we can't interact with that, with what's coming at us better, and it'll kill us. And so that's partly why free discourse isn't an option. It's not different than thinking, and thinking isn't different than dying.
Thinking isn't different than dying. Thinking isn't different than dying.
So that's one example of why the West has elevated free speech to the highest place, even religiously. That's the divine word, essentially. And that's the idea lurking underneath that. It's like everything else is dependent on that.
Well, you know,
and the objective.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
There's no doubt about that. Look, one of the things I really learned from Carl Rogers, even though I talk so much, was the importance of listening. the vital, vital, vital importance of listening. And I've met many, many people in my life who no one has ever listened to, not even once. And if you you listen to people, they unfold. That's the secret to Rogerian psychotherapy and Freudian to some degree, because he let his people free associate. It's like if you just you listen, because then they watch.
I'm behind watching you all, but Peterson says that we don't interact with the world, but a field of potential. More like Hoffman's interface. Humans are the center of the universe again. McNarth says, I knew it! Coulter Cricket says, feels like me, no one listens to me. And here we are listening to you, Coulter Cricket. But you're over there and don't hear us listening to you. Doesn't that hurt? More people hear you than you know. Coulter Cricket. Maybe an easier to say name. Jacob Sonneberg says, master of gesticulation. AK-47 Adult Swim says, it's all right, my dude. It's all right, my dude. Meanwhile, in our Hive Mind chat, Sally Joe says, lol, the fringes are definitely nexusing. Feel like I step away from keyboard for a month or two and it's all wrapped in. Grim, deacon of Internet Distributed Church. Thinking isn't different than dying. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. In his speech before he died, you're passing the ideas plate, Grim. Grim is DeLuise whispering to the cross. Who's DeLuise? I want to be the one on the one that gets in, not the other one. Yeah, Lex Friedman talks a lot about Epstein since connections in a disappointed way. It's okay. All right, if you guys come across these Epstein weirdos, you tell them I said this, okay? Watch. Bitch. WNU, capital Z, capital E, P, capital M, V, capital R, Z, little s, 6. Mouthy Buddha on the bitch.
Peterson he's not a modernist scientist. I don't think that's the way he's using precise. I don't want to say that he's trying to get at the spirit of what he's communicating in the most precise way, but
I am navigating now while there are 88 watching, poor Pastor Paul, to his Discord to find the chat related to this. Where is this live chat for this nonsense you have going on, Paul? Because somebody, impromptu chat. Do I need to jump in there? Where's the words real-time text chat? Get the wrenches to smack the Epsteins. WTF, this is a live stream. Nubs. Sorry.
And then if you notice they're arguing about something as petty as, well, he's saying be precise in his speech, but he said, this or that. It's like, I mean, he's
Okay, meanwhile, here's the most Jesus guy I've ever seen on YouTube. Somebody do the background check for me. You're squatting though, dude, come on.
To build the village to help the children. I've seen it in my own experience, in my memories. I feel it. But the mind, the opinions, the thoughts, the anticipations, the character, it will interfere with the will of unconditioned love. It will provide a doubt. Unconditional love whispers to the human. And the doubt comes in, I can't do that. I can't possibly do that. That doesn't make any sense.
I can't go there, man. I can't even do a cartwheel in the backyard. Like, even though there's a privacy fence, like, I'm too self-conscious to do a cartwheel in my own backyard. I have to hide in front of these virtual screens, and they've thrown all these people in me and making everybody wear masks, and it's terrifying because they're going to come for me with the mark of the beast.
The Christ child was born, and humanity has played for a long time with the idea of unconditional love, the symbol of unconditional love, the story of a being of unconditioned love. We have played and toyed with it, but it...
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Sally Joe wants to know if anybody's making ham. Anybody else making ham here? Is this a hammy situation?
It's time to look at how we can make sure that that love resonates in every cell of the human body that makes up this human talking to you and has some say in the direction of its life. And from there we will have a selfless world. And the birth of Jesus.
Birth of Jesus? What about Brennan Hybert? He wants you to do a cartwheel while wearing a mask. For some reason. Paul Baum says consciousness is a terribly spooky, unformed word. I hate it more than I hate hangnails.
Thought, not the thought itself. And as that happens, the Magi come, and the Magi travel from the east, who are Iranian astronomers. And the Magi represent the opening of the non-dual human into that high vibration of God and creation, always represented by the right. You see, the Nativity is more than historical. The Nativity is telling you today how you can find that love to transform your life. And you can. You can. This human talking to you, and I so want to say this from humility. I hope I'm coming from humility here. I don't want to take any credit for God's work in this world. I made that mistake and it didn't work out well for me. But when I found this space in me where
If you'd like to know more about the space he found in him, that's John St. Julian Baba Winyama. Awakening to the Will of Unconditional Love this Christmas. The will of unconditional love. Have some ham. Now, back to Pastor Paul Vanderklay and the internet Jordan Peterson friends.
Oh, I can explain a bit later, but yeah.
No, explain it now. So where is he coming from?
So he...
Uh-oh. Did we lose you, Bill? Oh, he was just ramping up.
Yeah. It says green on Discord. But...
what a letdown. Bill was silenced by his handler.
Can you hear me now?
We hear you now, Bill.
Okay, sorry. I think I have a dodgy connection. Doesn't matter. Right, back to it. As I was saying,
hey, Vanderklay, go
one of those,
go speaker view on your Discord pop out.
And especially that he's willing to speak to people actually of complete different things and actually consider their viewpoints. Especially he's talking to Peterson like this and such, which is very...
Also, can you not Discord cam up your nose?
So when he's talking about, like, worried about objective values and such, Pearson's being still very, like, scientific about, like, saying, yes, there's an objective reality. If you have certain values and they lead you one certain way, it's going to leave you in bad places compared to that value. So you can have completely still be... There's no objective value. I hate this term, but as in there's no real values, I should say. There aren't, like, real moral things in the world. Just things like, if you do this, then there's going to be certain things. Karass is going like, yeah, but I'm like, oh, but that doesn't that mean that this is the problem? Is like Karass is going. I'm trying to find the best way of phrasing this. Sorry, it's really hard to again be precise.
I can't find a way to
but
phrase
it's really hard to do
man.
this. Is that he is trying to frame it in a way.
Hey,
that,
Martin.
The way I do it in my head, this is not going to help some people. Like he's trying to bridge the Azort gap, but he can't. And he thinks he can. That's what I mean, Karass. So as in he thinks you can look at nature and look, oh, they're the objective values. I can see them. They're over there. But he's coming from that standpoint and is then talking to Peterson. He's like, but they aren't what I mean by values. I mean, they're values. Like that's
I think
like
maybe this is why it's only when 2 or 3 gather.
It's like Peterson's like he's.
I don't know. I can't. I want to get back. Let's accomplish what I meant to, so I don't never have to do it again. Fourth walled personal. Various strains, sun caused cartwheel. 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 Commentary on the first third of Jonathan Pageau and Sticks and Hammer. Yeah. Where's the special extra? It's got the where both. Yeah, if you're gonna do 2 videos, Paul, why don't you have one have a different thumbnail for me? That'd be sweet. One's 47. It's the 47-minute one.
I think I am personifying the sea so it has attention. Does the sea have attention?
Does the
God
sea
has attention? Persons. The gifts enable a person to be moved by God in a manner that can be understood metaphorically and in terms of a person appropriating the psychological orientation of a second person in joint attention. Expressed from the standpoint of a first person before God, I take your stance towards something in a desired union of my soul with you, since by means of the gifts one's cognition and appetites are moved in a second personal way. First personal, second personal, third personal way. First personal, second personal, third personal.
Fourth wall personal. Hey, that was a good clip, right? How's the apocalypse treating me? Well, to be honest, I've not suffered much, and the Shadow Cabal membership is up, not down. So, I mean, it's like always like you're riding the bullet up until the third of the month, like everybody else. It's looking good right now, baby.
He got there first. A gift
Orlando.
could be characterized as.
Orlando, would you like to make an appearance? You got anything to say? Is that all? He said, "I love you." He never makes that noise. That was weird.
As a second personal disposition, classifying a virtue by contrast as first personal disposition. For me, this was all revelatory. As why Christians would insist God is a person with whom one can have a personal relationship, and why the previous strange-seeming practice of praying to a father or to a Lord who doesn't appear in the world. It provided an exceedingly clear psychological explanation for the power of such a relationship, regardless of the ontological status of God himself, and regardless of the historical status of Jesus performing miracles and being resurrected. So in my secular frame, it quite suddenly made a lot of sober sense to just start trying to see what happens if I invite God into joint attention with my own perception. Act as if God has attention to give to me, and act as if I can pay attention to what God cares about. That didn't mean I have to try to
act as if God is constantly watching and judging you. Sponsored by, not them. Sponsored by Get Lambs, the EMF beanie that protects your noggin from all sorts of wireless radiations. Especially the Grimgriz link one, because the Grimgriz referral link one gives you a bonus on your savings throws against mind control on the Grimgriz episodes. Hey, 19 for the survivalists, 12 for the socialists, 12 for the sophists, and 8 for the heart. If you have art, you should have had a hat. Otherwise, you're gonna fall for this. You're gonna fall for this.
Reach God to see him or hear his voice. I only had a kind to shift my mindset into one where I assume I might be alone with my own gaze at the world. So I hypothesize that I am a child. Henry, I can't.
I hypothesize that I am a child.
Talk to you right now. I'm making a video. And it's going to be a little longer than you like, I know.
Henry don't like long videos. but he's got coveted phone access to the mind of Paul Vanderklay and the audience of Jordan Peterson, Christian guys. Lobster boys, come be monkeys, and then we're gonna go where the lobster boy. Where's the lobster monkey? You need the lobster monkey on tap. It's not. You haven't color coded your sources either, pal. What are you doing with your life? Playing Civ 5? Cause what's his face? Remember, everybody. Lobster monkey. It's this one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So hypothesize, get the word right, Vanderklay, that I am a child, my attention wavering and unwise, but that just outside my field of vision there is a heavenly Father whose wisdom and stability I can only vaguely surmise, and I let this being see with me. I try to see together with him. Joint attention.
Speaking of joint attention, I have to go to the shed momentarily, but I would like to point out that Sally Jo M. Cooper was once commissioned to make art on condition of markers. And I ordered them to like Office Depot, and they claimed they were delivered, and she said she never got them. And now she's all up in my chat saying, you should sell markers, so you're affiliate markering. And see, this is the social layer stuff that goes on. Like, you don't know that backstory, but you see this comment. What are you to make of it? Hunter Biden slept with Afghan refugees? The thing you need to remember about Afghans, refugees and Afghans, is it keeps them warm and Sardukar.
Now it is possible for me to make any use of a heavenly wisdom that I don't actually possess? Well, that seems almost like an experimental question. And my feeling is that God, taken as a hypothetical source of wise attunement, in fact, is some
At-one-ment. Wise at-one-ment. Right? Right? Remember, Embody. Panopticon means prison where you're constantly watched. This prison of constant surveillance. Let me tell you about the sunk cost parts, because I know I've covered like 3 or 4 of these things now. I know backyard cartwheels out there. Here's sunk costs. Once you do something that's done bun can't be undone thing, like I don't know. But once you do that, you're even more like the cognitive dissonance that it was a mistake that you did it is even a hotter fire than your regular cognitive dissonance. So it's like, it's the sunk cost fallacy. It happens to gamblers when they go in too deep because they're already that deep. And it's sure to hit soon. Okay, we did sunk costs. Good.
somehow present with me.
Oh. Let me check with the chat real quick. Sally Jo said, don't worry about it. I also got busy moving to the States. Moving states! And accomplished nothing on the project. But you are half set up to commune for people with enough money, right? So you're getting there, girl. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I love that that spiritual sky video you shared, honestly. But I don't talk about those things. Oh, what's gonna happen is skunking costs. Yes, they were skunked costs. Skunked costs. What's gonna happen is I am gonna watch this with you on my phone in the shade and then come bitch about it afterward. So I'm with you on the phone. Not this way though. It's weird, huh? I'm just climbing down off the stage and sitting in the audience for a minute. Remember, Embody, there is no fourth wall. It's just us. It's just us.
Feel this while making no supernatural claim. He's in Jordan Peterson land right here. Because it's just compatible with an explanation like, this God is just a projected of intuitive perfection of a wise inclination that my mind is just by virtue of innate evolved intelligence. Even so, it feels like a discovery that such a projection can be efficacious and inspiring when I put it to work as a parental figure in joint attention with me, pointing myself to the posture of playing a child guided by the wisdom of innate parental conscience. Pinsent proposes that this Aquinian way of understanding faith can illuminate secular interactions, such as between parent and child. Of course, I have no ambition to be like a God for my child, but you are a God for your child. Your child will meet many other gods. But I have to play the role of father in our joint attentional relationship. Just as everyday joint attention in which two persons share an awareness of the sharing of focus helps provide an understanding of how Aquinas thinks that the virtues develop in relation to God, his work may also highlight the effect of everyday joint attention on the development of virtues in relation to others. In particular, he may help to highlight the way in which commonplace instances of joint attention, such as that between a parent and a child, help to shape the formation of virtues in ways that are often overlooked. This is a very long thread. For some time now, I have been praying on a regular basis, meaning I take some time to address God as you, while attending to the circumstances of life, as a kind of meditation that charges the mental atmosphere with wisdom and glory. It feels like a remarkably potent, fascinating, beautiful, and intuitive psychotechnology, calling John Vervaeke, entirely aside from what I might believe about the ancient hallucinations of the Israelite prophets and whatnot. That's all for tonight. Oh, you gave us a lot. He even added POTUS. We'll see if Joe Biden picks up the call. But there it is. You didn't at me. Oh, there you go. You got me in there. And this long thread, I probably missed it because it was so long and you didn't have my attention. Well, you have it now. On this long thread of a secular atheist discovering prayer after reading an academic book about joint attention as a unifying metaphor for Aquinas' modification of Aristotelian virtue ethics. Yeah, you have my attention now. You win, I don't know, thread of the month, thread of the year. Wow, what a thread. That thread is so good it deserves the termination of this video. I had more slides, and maybe I'll just turn the slides into another video because I don't want to distract from the profundity, from how profound this really is. So I'll leave it there. Hey, I make a lot of videos. This one, for me, is really top shelf. There are some breakthroughs, if I can use charismatic language in this videos, and I think Mikhail Brockman nails it. So let me know what you think. Okay, for those of you who are here for the long version, this is a two-parter, and the reason that I split it is because I'm dividing the attention, and I thought that Brockman's point was worthy of a conclusion of a video. But this is how I originally posted it, because we started with Rob Bell. And part of the way that our attention is focused and our attention is demanded and our ire is raised is not quite so obvious and has everything to do with persons. Part of the Rob Bell Amazon documentary about the heretic is all about the anger of people who want to continue to promote hell as they are portrayed, as if hell is something worthy to be promoted. Now, there's a lot of things to say about this, part of which is hell is a very selective valuable, because people like to portray themselves as generous when they're feeling secure, but when they're angry, they like to pull hell off the shelf and throw it at their enemies. It's just true, because on one hand, you can be celebrated in certain circles reactively if you say, well, I don't believe God would punish anyone or torture anyone, or, well, maybe it's just eternity, or, however you want to delve into that question.
Well, I don't know. I missed the question. I was taking the... Hey, okay. Have a Merry Christmas, y'all. Good night, Martin. Good night, if you're going to sleep. Merry Christmas. I don't think I've ever seen you type. Hell is a tool for oppressors. Okay. I wanted to go to the Illumines part real quick.
On this long thread of a secular atheist discovering prayer after reading an academic book about joint...
A secular atheist discovering prayer. Essentially, Lord God, Merry Christmas, embody. All right, this Saturnalia, let's make it something special. Let's make this Saturnalia something special. Okay? Let's. Because, Musk showing up on that cock-ass Babylon Bee thing, that's Saturnalia. And I need at least my group of monkeys to understand that. Rico's Roughneck, On the same, it's the time everybody else celebrates Christ's birthday. But I think that one astronomical clip from within the last 2 months showed that the astrological reason that Jesus was born on 9/11 or something. Wasn't that how that went? I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. But I think the shtick was that if you go back to his birthday and rewind the sky clock, with the fancy astronomy simulation softwares that's available. If you rewind the clock back and then you read the book of Revelation, it lines up, Investigate, get back to me, let me know, I'll tell everybody for you. That's what I do, behold!
Joint attention as a unifying metaphor for Aquinas' modification of Aristotelian virtue ethics. On this long thread of a secular atheist discovering prayer after reading an academic book about joint attention as a unifying metaphor for Aquinas'
joint attention as a unifying metaphor. Joint attention. Joint attention. Joint attention. Joint attention. Joint attention.
Modification of Aristotelian virtue ethics.
Aristotelian virtue ethics. Well, then, Pastor Paul Randigley, perhaps we should unpack. Let's unpack some Aristotelian virtue ethics. Aristotelian. Is it Aristotelianly virtuous that I use the search engine that's supposed to be planting trees? Or is that just honky privilege, planting trees in people's yards when they don't want trees? Tell me the Aristotelian virtue ethics understanding of that in the comments if you're one of the smarty pantses that watches my show. A class of normative ethical theory. Normative ethical theories which treat the concept of moral virtue as central to ethics. Virtue ethics is usually contrasted with two other major approaches in normative. See, we have a three-pronged normative effort. Consequentialism and deontology, which makes the goodness of outcomes of an action and concept of moral duty. Read more. Concept of moral duty. Read more. Would you like to know more? We must act in line with the golden middle. The virtues lie between two vices, the vice of deficiency and the vice of excess. Use phronesis to work out what the golden mean is. Adulterer A and adulterer B use each other's phronesis to adulterate. I don't know.
Yeah, you have my attention now. You win, I don't know, thread of the month, thread of the year. Wow, what a thread. They're beyond redemption now. Oop, here we go. I note this often in culture wars where you have, let's use Neil Shenvi and David French, because in many ways they're on opposite sides. Anyone who doesn't understand, and David French goes to the Presbyterian Church of America, that won't ordain women as elders or pastors, probably not as deacons either. They might be a deaconess, which someone would be offended to have. Oh, you just put the S on, you made the diminutive.
Did you make a diminutive? Oh, you made a diminutive. Sunset Suites may eventually expand to having glamping. Oh. How about, like, paintball training courses?
Yeah, people perceive them as traitors. Why? Why do we pay attention to Rob Bell? Why do we pay attention to Neil Shenvi or to David French or to people who are jumping
All right. If I'm generous, this is the mission work, like that right there is the mission work that Paul is doing on the internet. He's doing mission work to people that pay attention to these other people.
ship. Women as elders or pastors, probably not as deacons either. They might be a deaconess, which someone would be offended to have. Oh, you just put the S on, you made the diminutive. Yeah, people perceive them as traitors. Why? Why do we pay attention to Rob Bell? Why do we pay attention to Neil Shenvi or to David French or to people who are jumping ship? We're deeply invested in these profiles. Why? Because again, this authenticity is all about prophilicity. We are calibrating the world through the images that are projected at us. And we're very much watching the attention of the crowd.
Whoa, we're hive-minding. Soy-free glamping. Oh, that reminds me. It's like I have to scroll back far enough in the notifications. New subscriber, man, like Iron subscribed after the conversation, so make sure you watch it because it's apparently worth subscribing over. This is what gets in my notification box. What's in yours? Should we share those? Should we share that? Where is it? Damn. Oh, there's too much. See, the notifications that people like my stuff and the notifications of new video releases should be separate, but this is hell, and so we don't do it that way. All right, then. I don't know any of that, but here, watch some of these. These guys featured a tweet of mine
Creepy
once.
when you consider who this man is, how much power he has, and what he's trying to do here. But he is this person who's trying to do this here, and he's gleefully talking about how during the first few months of the pandemic, he was playing a first-person shooter game of infected people, during the first few months of a time when people were dying of infections. I don't know. It's a stunning.
You will be able to step beyond the physical world and into the kinds of experiences that we have talked about today.
But will there be experiences?
They're going to unlock some pretty amazing experiences. From immersive experiences in fantasy worlds, to cohesive augmented reality storytelling experiences.
These are the most important experiences that you'll experience. That's why we experience experiences multiple times.
These storytelling experiences.
These are the most important experiences.
Cohesive augmented reality storytelling experiences.
These are the
in fantasy worlds, cohesive augmented reality storytelling experiences.
Top Feed Coco says, does the internet ever seem like a place for people who decades ago would have been perched atop a soapbox, yelling at strangers? Can finally get the audience they deserve? The internet is going to mature. I think it's gonna. I think our societies are, and I think the internet will too, map to like the human development cycle of evolution, like spiral dynamics. Of how like you spiral inward and toward reason, the golden mean, if you will. You can't. You spiral inward to the golden mean, if you will. And you know, just as we go up, it becomes less violent or something. I don't know. What?
Water fonts that we sell. I think this is the only one that stands right now, because it
There's
stands
a
or
Pieta,
hangs.
but I think you have to hang that one, don't you?
You have to hang all the rest of them. There's a crucifix. There's a Holy Family. And a few more. But so you can look online at our choices. You know, whatever would go.
But this
in
one
your
is
house.
freestanding.
But that one's
I have
freestanding.
mine.
I just
It's the supposed reality people are reporting to me on the internet is becoming more and more like science fiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Very
for sure. So if you say there's a group of elite people who want to reset the entire world, they'll say you're a conspiracy theorist. But it's on the cover of Time magazine. It's like they're telling us that they want to do this. I'm not making it up. I'm not pulling it out of there.
In the poor way that we are capable of.
It is real, but there's this fractal-like nature of the story where there's an embodiment in the moment that is more real for the people that are closer to that embodiment, right? And that embodiment is missing it, right? Like that embodiment, because you could see it at Brett Weinstein or Peter Boghossian now, right? Like they're getting all of this attention because and even Jordan Peterson with C16, right? Like they're standing up for something, and people are attracted to that, and that courage and that way of being is a thing that is under accentuated in our current society, and it's like, yeah, more of those people, please, and like.
All that's already been done, where there's nothing new, that is subdued, and is a time when things are topsy-turvy, and instead of the king, the philosopher king, ruling over people theoretically, mythologically, the fool is king, and the rules are reversed, and it's foolishness, and it's festivity, and it's revels, only for a time, just in time for a reset, for everyone to blow off some steam, and then it's back to a new version of the rule of the king, only it won't be the same sun this time, you know, metaphorically speaking. Sun symbolizing our natural world, the base reality. Base reality is not what they plan to deal with anymore.
Not alone about it. Oh, look, that's where you are now. Hooray! There we go. There's my commercial, babies. Look, guys, it's Twitter. Look at the power of the internet. Together, we can come together and spit things on multiple platforms all over this place. Look at that. It's great. It's fucking fabulous.
Extremely elegant. I mean, these Shiva images from the south of India are very, very elegant. They're most beautiful pieces of sculpture, the best of them. But it's a shame we don't have any good sense.
The Coin Captain is not a financial advisor, accountant, or attorney. Hello. I see the assassins have failed.
I mean, the symbol of the cross is fairly good, but it doesn't take into account the sort of cosmic side of life. I mean, it doesn't take into account...
It doesn't take into account the... Oh, sorry. Is that a sing-song? Is that what they mean when they say sing-songy voice?
Utterly destroy any semblance of a healthy sense of self. When this occurs, the individual will enter the panic phase of the process. The disintegrating self and the disorientation this creates bring to the fore emotions of such an intensity that the individual becomes incapable of proper interaction with their environment. Eventually, the panic becomes so overwhelming that the psyche reimposes order through what is called the stage of the psychotic insight.
So, my psychotic insight involves the CERN underneath Waxahachie. Welcome. I have a week, 7 days. 7 days to learn the fucking gay-ass cartwheel movement. They're just not, they're not masculine is the thing, guys. But it was, by the way, yes, as in, if you have, like, apparently my Discord is very confusing to people. I believe I've done a walkthrough somewhere. I can do another one at another time. But in the LARPgate process room, at the bottom, the most recent thing is the invitation to the secret project that might have enough of you floating around to catch on to now. I don't know. The Lobster Monkey logo is in there. And I think what I'm looking for is, too, we just hope as we scroll and hope. Scrollful hoping. Is this where you left it? Is this where you left it? No, I think you would have found it by now. It's probably in hyperspace? What? Okay, my Discord's confusing. You guys are right. Again, I've seen it now. I've seen it for myself. What am I to do? Spoiler fucking alert. Okay. We want what's best. We want what we want. We want what's best for you.
Studying schizophrenia. In his book, Interpretation of Schizophrenia,
treatments, but death leaves a big imprint, especially traumatic deaths, because 50% were traumatic deaths. And I'd say actually the percentage I've seen is higher than that. But what was really blew my mind when I first read this, just having had the experience with my 2 children, is that 35% of these children who remembered how they died had phobias relating to the way they died. The fear that got locked in at the time of death through the trauma carried over. So this is pretty mind-blowing stuff. And then, not only that, and I think it was 1998, Ian published a 2,200 page, 2-volume tome called Reincarnation in Biology. 210 cases of children who had birthmarks, birth defects, physical symptoms, relating to traumatic injury or illness in the deceased person's body. Chase.
Wow! Oh, boy!
Don't move. Go ahead and do it. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
I'd buy that for $1.